Hi everyone, it's Katie, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a deck review for you. I'm going to talk about the Awakened Soul Oracle by Ethony and Danielle Mulligan. Now it is really early in the morning. I've just done an interview with Arwen, which was heaps of fun, so forgive the lighting, but I really wanted to talk about this deck and I thought now would be the perfect time to do it. So Ethony sent me this deck right when it was released, so I think the beginning of December. And I've been working with it on and off since then, and I've been meaning to do a review, but I don't like to do reviews unless I have something to add to the conversation, and in large part I feel like this deck speaks for itself. But I have had a couple of requests to do a video review of this deck, and I wanted to honour those requests, and plus I just think this is a deck worth sharing, and if you haven't seen some of the images, if you haven't heard a whole lot about it, I want to tell you about it, so we're going to do a review anyway. So as per usual, let's start with the hardware. This is an independently published deck. Ethony did all of this herself, along with Danielle did the artwork, and it comes in a fabulous like 2-part box, and it's very solid. It's beautifully done, and the colours on the box and in the deck, they're just beautiful. Danielle's done a really lovely job. The box is fabulous, and it comes with a really great little guidebook, which fits in the box with the cards. How big is it? It's a little bit over 100 pages, 120-ish pages, 126 pages, and this is written by Ethony, and for each card you get kind of like this 2-page spread with a little reproduction of the image. The Awakened Soul story, so it talks about the story of the person in the card, which I really like. There's also a symbol. So for example, for gratitude, it's the heart chakra symbol, and keywords, and you get like 3 or 4 keywords for each card. Then we get to the awakened meaning, which is kind of more the divinatory meaning of the card, what sort of messages you can draw from the card. Then there's a shadow meaning, which is kind of like a short sentence or two about what might be the reverse meaning or the shadow, as it says. Then there's an affirmation and personal reflections, which is like a little question. It might be a journal prompt for you or just something to reflect on. If you've watched Ethony's videos, her personality really comes across in this guidebook. It's kind and it's generous, but it's empowering and encouraging. It's kind of a beautiful balance between pushing you and nurturing you. There's also an Awakened Soul challenge, which I totally forgot was in here. It's kind of like an Instagram challenge, a 13-day challenge. So maybe I'll have to do that sometime soon. And then there's a couple of spreads. How many? 4, 5 spreads, and they're all fairly small, which is good because that's how I like to use Oracle. But they are in here for you. Now the cards are of course the stars of the show. This is the backing. Isn't it beautiful? So it is reversible and it's just stunning. The cards are really quite large and they're a little bit glossy, but so vibrant. They're beautiful and they're silver gilded, which is just luxurious. In terms of the size of the cards, they're large, but they're not like massive. So this is a Rider-Waite card up against it. So it's a little bit taller, quite a bit taller and quite a bit wider. The cards are thick, but still flexible, so you can still riffle shuffle them quite easily. I think we all know that Ethony is really big into quality cards, quality decks, quality boxes, and she's really kind of delivered with her own deck. So there's 50 cards, and they're all just beautiful. They're so colourful. Check this out. I'm really bad at doing this, but they're so vibrant and rich, and I really like Danielle's artwork. All of the cards are just beautiful and they all feature someone. Most are women, but not all are. And there's quite a beautiful, depth in terms of the diversity and the different depictions of people as well. Each card also has a little keyword. They are borderless, which is amazing, and the keyword's just kind of at the bottom in a little circle, oval, like that, which makes them really easy to read without obstructing the image too much. So I'll just show you some of the images. It's mantra, and they all do have, some symbolism in them, and they all depict a person kind of engaging in a particular activity, kind of. They're really beautiful, and as I said, I keep talking about the colours, but look at it. Oh, that's a good one to come up for when I'm talking about colours, isn't it? My experience with this deck has been really nurturing. As I said, I've used it a lot as a daily draw sort of deck, which is always really lovely. It kind of gives me something to focus on. Some decks are more okay, you can focus on thinking this way or feeling this way. This deck's a little bit more, why don't you bring this activity into your day? Why don't you do this a little bit more today? I think this deck really does have quite a strong mothering energy, which is cool because in the guidebook at the beginning, I'm pretty sure Ethony's dedicated it to her son. Yeah, she has, to my son who awakened the divine mother in me. I hadn't really made that connection, but I do really feel like this has a bit of a divine mother feminine energy. And that's definitely how I feel working with this deck. It's a strong, loving, nurturing, kind, empowering, motherly deck. And that's definitely how it shows up for me, which is really, really beautiful for an oracle deck to do, I think. Especially, you know, so often we need that. So often we need that reassurance and kindness and love, unconditional love. While also, you know, teaching us and asking us to move forward, asking us to become more independent. It's fun too because it is quite new agey and witchy. There's a lot of cards, as I'm sure you've probably seen. I haven't really been paying attention to which ones I've shown you. But you know, like cleanse. You know, there's a lot of really beautiful earthy spirituality in these cards as well, which is great if you're a bit of a earth-based practitioner of some kind or have some kind of connection to that way of being and celebrating life. It's also very real, modern day life. So I think it's a beautiful depiction of how so many of us experience our spirituality. You know, we want to connect and we want to experience something more, but we also live in an everyday modern world. This deck really celebrates that and depicts that well. It reminds us how to connect with ourselves and our spirituality in our modern day experience, which is just awesome because that's what it's all about, isn't it? So as per usual, let's shuffle, draw a card, and I'll read to you what's in the guidebook so you can get a bit of a sense of, you know, the experience and what it's like to work with the deck. As I said, I can just shuffle it this way. It's a little bit too big for me to comfortably shuffle lengthways. Can do it, but it's a bit difficult. It is really easy to riffle shuffle, and then also shuffling it this way, because even though the cards are quite glossy, which brings out the colors beautifully, they're not at all sticky, which is kind of the only really big downside I think with glossy cards. And they're not so glossy that they, you know, hold fingerprints. I don't know, they're shiny, but they're not sticky. I really like how they're done. I like this sort of cardstock, especially for oracle decks. Mirror. I love this card, that purple, and she's just beautiful. Okay, let's have a read. So the book is in alphabetical order, making everything really easy to find. So the symbol in mirror is the mirror. Keywords: reflection, love, acceptance, and projection. The awakened soul story. Our awakened soul has woken this morning and looked into the mirror, the same as she has 1,000 times before. However, today it is like she's seeing herself anew. She had a powerful dream where her reflection gently places a hand on her face, smiles, and says, "I love you," in a way that had her wake with the tears of appreciation and love in her eyes. Now, looking into her own eyes, she sees that all life is a reflection of how she sees herself. That to truly love, she must fully love herself. She understands she is not perfect and shouldn't try to attain someone else's ideal of perfection. She accepts that she is perfectly imperfect and that she is worthy of love all the same, as are you. Casting away all negative thoughts and projections about herself, she is no longer going to shy away from mirrors, photos, and being seen by people for the amazing goddess she is. Our awakened meaning. This card has come to you today with the message of the change that you want to see in your life relationships with money, people, family, lovers, friends, and in the wider world all come from the relationship and the way you view yourself. Your relationships are your greatest teachers. People often mirror back your fears, judgments, and projections. They can also reflect back your love, joys, and hopes. What are your relationships reflecting back to you today? Are you open to seeing it? Seeing yourself in that reflection? When you accept this and work on shifting the energy into a loving one, everyone feels this. Life-changing changes can happen. This card is also a call to take a look at the standards and expectations you are placing on yourself and others. Are they coming to you from a place of love or are you accepting the status quo as gospel? See these through love. This card comes with a special song, The Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. The song came in so loud and strong when this card was born. It all starts with us, all of the love and positive change. The shadow meaning, negative or harmful projections, not taking responsibility for your life, judging yourself and others, not really seeing yourself. The affirmation, I love myself, I forgive myself, I accept myself. And personal reflections, how can I reflect and shine love to the people in my life? It gives you really specific ways of improving your day or your life or your approach to things. It's not just about, how you see yourself is what you project. It's like, hey, check in with what you are projecting. Check in with how your relationships are doing and what's going on there. I don't know, it's specific in that way. And I think that makes working with it really easy and accessible and approachable. Some oracle decks are a little bit more introspective. This one still certainly has that as an element, but it just is so great at providing a focus for the day, and it's really uplifting in just a great way. Sitting down, having a cuppa, drawing a card from this is just one of my favorite ways to start the day. And I'm just going to throw this in there. I really appreciate and admire how Ethony approaches business. I'm, a bit one of those pessimistic people when it comes to business. It's not really my thing, but Ethony kind of really, her priority is to rise above all that and do better. And something that I just remember so clearly is a big priority for her was to pay her artist fairly. I don't know, that just meant so much to me that, she wasn't kind of acting like a big rock star, like, I'm a big deal, you work with me, you'll get some cool exposure. For her, it was really important that there was a fair balance exchange between her and Danielle, that it was a supportive relationship, and a big priority for her was that, her artist felt respected and appreciated and honored. And I don't know, just that sort of stuff, I really admired that about Ethony. And I think, all that high vibe ethic stuff, it just bleeds through this deck. It doesn't, there's nothing tainting this deck in that sort of way. It just feels good to work with. And I really feel like Ethony's approach to this whole process is a big part of that. So that's all from me. I really hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know if you have this deck, what you think of it. Let me know the sort of ways that you work with it, because I'm always looking for new ideas. So if you have any other comments or questions about this deck or anything that I've said, feel free to leave those below and I'll do my best to get back to you. And until next time, guys, so much love. Bye.